Welcome everybody. Good evening. So I would like to share the output of my research, fellowship research, which is about the lesson learned from the Oregon's forest fire management practices. And basically I'll be focusing more on why and what I have learned in my fellowship research. So to start with, let me take you to my country first. My country, Nepal, it's a very small, beautiful, landlocked and mountainous country where more than 2/3 of the land is covered by the mountain. And it lies in the Asia, which is about 7,000 miles far from the Oregon and sandwiched in between two humongous countries, China and India. So in terms of the size, it's about the half of the Oregon. Now, let's talk about the forest cover of my country, which is nearly pretty similar as in the Oregon. And because of the unique altitudinal gradient that my country has got, because we have an elevation as low as 200 feet to as high as Mount Everest, which is 29,000 feet, and which is across a distance of 100 miles. So it has given a very unique altitudinal gradient. And that's why it enables Nepal to harbor all kind of ecosystems, to grow all kind of forest. So we have a forest right from the tropical forest to the alpine forest. And Nepal, primarily it is a developing country where more than 2/3 people live in a rural area, and the livelihood strategy of those people are basically the agriculture, and they are more dependent on the forest product resources. So you can see in the picture as well, I mean, for their daily subsistence needs of firewood, fuels, they have to rely heavily on the forest. And while talking about the forest fire, yes, now as in the Oregon and as well as the other part of the world, Nepal is also experienced the forest fire. And as Sadia mentioned, yes, the climate change is pushing this occurrence, the frequency of the forest fire more. And the map itself is this map, basically, which is derived from the satellite MODIS map, which shows the fire spot of 10 days fire spot of last year, April. It clearly shows the extent of the forest fire happening in my country. And as in the Oregon and the United States, I'm sorry to say that we don't have a formal firefighting program at all. And the fire in my country is very difficult because of this difficult terrain, sloping area. And also, we do not have a kind of the database system for the forest fire. So, given this scenario, and while working on one of the forest fire project in Nepal in 2015, it really drove me to learn more on these issues from some advanced country. And I'm fortunately to be here, and I have really learned a lot in terms of the forest fire management. Now, while talking about the forest fire in Oregon and in Nepal, it's simply not comparable in terms of the extent of damage that I saw this year and the management response that we put. But the scale of the fire is very, low in my country. But having said that, the forest cover loss due to the fire is going to put more pressure on the forest because of the dependence of the people. That's why we have to really think on these issues right from now. And having seen the Oregon managing the fire with different tools and technologies and best management practices, I have learned a lot. But I had 3 different specific issues to focus on in my fellowship research. Number 1, I wanted to learn what are the different ICT and geospatial tools and technologies has been used here to enhance the management efficacy. And similarly, number 2, I wanted to learn how the different forest land owner in a landscape work together in partnership to deal about these forest fire issues. And number 3, I wanted to learn about how the post-fire impacts, particularly in the soil, is being, the issues, how they are dealing these issues. These were the 3 different issues that I wanted to learn. Now let me share about my learning on these 3 different specific issues here. Now let me first talk about the first one. This is about the ICT tools, ICT and geospatial tools. Well, the innovations and development of these tools in order to manage a forest fire from the holistic perspective, right, covering from the pre-fire to during fire to post-fire, is amazing. So you can see different programs they have been launching in partnership, and not only that, but they have a kind of mechanism whereby they continuously improve by sharing these knowledge across their partners. That's what is really amazing. Now let me just cite 3 different examples, three different examples for each stages. For example, the tools that has been used to analyze and inform general public about the daily fire risk in anywhere of the United States. This is amazing. And similarly, during the fire, the tools, the wildland fire decision support system tools, which is used to make a strategic and long-term decisions, taking the fire risk analysis to suppress the fire from the conservation standpoint or protection standpoint. And similarly, after the fire as well, now we have tools which enable us to browse the fire burnt area, historical fire burnt area of any point of area of interest of the United States since 1984. So these are the amazing tools that I have learned in the first specific objective. And similarly, in the second specific objective, which is about the collaborations, as my colleague has already pointed out, that managing the natural resources or fire it's also greatly the managing the people. Now in a situations whereby in a landscape scale, multiple forest landowner shares the boundary, and they have a multiple diverse objective, yet they have to work together to manage these fire. So there is no other way than to collaborate each other, and that has been successfully done here. Now I could clearly see the collaboration in between the federal, state, local, tribal, and there are a lot of programs to empower them to do that. So this is what I learned in a collaborative part. And similarly, regarding the post-fire things, well, immediately after the mega fire, the deployment of the BEAR team, what they do is basically assess the damages, and then they also evaluate the value at risk, and then work about the mitigative strategies. And these all things they do basically by the different models, and which is online models. So this is also amazing. So therefore, in nutshell, a successful forest fire program is essentially built on these different fundamental elements. For example, a good database system, consistent database system, sustained economic investment, and all land approaches, research and development, and then also the education's awareness program and enforcement of the law. So they all are take-home message to me. But again, in a country like us, where the forest fire is a kind of new things for us, we have to nearly start it from the scratch. So I think the database is very important. That can be a common denominator to start with. So that's what is my personal take-home message, main take-home message. And I'll be lobbying for these wherever I can influence in the government sector as well as the academia. And being in the academic field, I can multiply whatever the knowledge I gain through my teaching and learnings. And not only that, but a person like me who has no forestry background, I'm starting to take more deep dive in these fields by starting the PhD, 3 years PhD program after this fellowship program. And I really have to thank you, all the peoples. I can see a lot of people here. So these fellows, the World Forestry Centers, and all these institutions and the people, I really appreciate. I can see here all the people, most of the people here. I have to appreciate my host family who have been such a true home away from home, I should say. And thank you very much. And thank you, everybody. Thank you.